Have you ever felt completely drained by someone's negativity? Have you ever walked into a room feeling light, optimistic, and full of energy, only to have that mood shift the moment you encounter someone who radiates tension, complaints, or criticism? It's as if their energy seeps into the atmosphere, weighing everything down, altering your emotions before you even realize it. Maybe it's a coworker who always finds something to complain about, a family member whose words cut deep, or even a stranger whose mere presence feels heavy. And suddenly you find yourself irritated, drained, or even anxious without understanding why. But why does this happen? Why does someone else's negativity have so much power over our emotions? The answer is simple. Energy is contagious. Whether we realize it or not, we are deeply sensitive to the moods and emotions of those around us. Just like a smile can brighten a room, negativity can darken it. The mind unconsciously tunes in to the emotional frequencies surrounding it, and without awareness, we get pulled into the same current. Buddhism, however, offers a different way, one that allows us to maintain our peace no matter what kind of energy surrounds us. It teaches us that we don't have to be victims of the negativity around us. Instead of absorbing someone else's bad mood or reacting to their harsh words, we can choose a different response, one that protects our peace, not through confrontation, but through stillness. We cannot escape negative people. They are as much a part of life as the wind, the rain, or the changing seasons. We cannot control their actions, words, or attitudes, but we can control how we respond. Instead of engaging in pointless battles, instead of exhausting ourselves trying to change others, we can learn to shield our inner peace in a way that requires no words at all. Buddhist monks and practitioners have mastered these teachings for centuries, not by isolating themselves from the world, but by learning to live among all kinds of people without being disturbed by their energy. They walk through the same unpredictable world as we do. They encounter anger, criticism, and suffering just like us, but they have learned how to keep their peace intact, untouched by the storm of others' emotions. And today you will learn how to do the same. You will discover how to shift your perspective so that negativity no longer has power over you. You will learn how to stay calm even when someone else is losing control, how to walk through life with an unshakable presence, and how to reclaim your energy instead of giving it away. Because the truth is, you are never at the mercy of someone else's emotions. You have the ability to remain grounded no matter what is happening around you. But before we learn how to disarm negativity, we must first understand where it comes from. From a Buddhist perspective, negativity does not arise out of nowhere. It has a cause, and that cause is suffering. The Buddha taught that all human beings experience dukkha, a word that is often translated as suffering, dissatisfaction, or an underlying sense of discomfort with life. No one is free from this condition. The person who constantly complains, the one who is quick to anger, the one who criticizes everything and everyone, they are not simply negative people. They are people carrying deep, unresolved suffering. They may not be aware of it, and they may not know how to express it in a healthy way, but their negativity is not truly about you. It is a reflection of the pain they carry inside. Think about the last time you were deeply stressed, hurt, or angry. How did you treat the people around you? Even if you didn't intend to, you may have been less patient, more reactive, more distant. We've all had moments like that. The only difference is that some people live in that state permanently, unaware of how their suffering is spilling into the world around them. The problem is, we take it personally. If someone speaks to us with harshness, we assume it is about us. If someone criticizes us, we feel attacked. But in reality, their actions have nothing to do with us. They are simply projecting their own inner struggle outward. And the moment we understand this, everything changes. Instead of feeling offended, we can feel compassion. Instead of reacting with frustration, we can remain calm. Instead of engaging in negativity, we can step outside of it entirely. We recognize that their words, their tone, their energy, it is not a reflection of us, but of what they are experiencing inside. And in that understanding, we set ourselves free. This is the first step to disarming negativity, shifting your perception. When you stop seeing someone's bad mood as an attack on you and start seeing it as a symptom of their own suffering, you remove its power over you. You stop reacting. You stay centered. You remain steady, like a mountain in the middle of a storm. But perception alone is not enough. To truly protect our inner peace, we need something more. We need patience. Patience in Buddhism is not passive. It is not about gritting your teeth and tolerating something unpleasant. True patience is an active force. It is a shield that keeps you rooted in peace no matter what is happening around you. Think about how we usually react when faced with someone's negativity. If someone raises their voice, we instinctively raise ours. If someone criticizes us, we rush to defend ourselves. If someone's energy is heavy, we unconsciously absorb it. Without realizing it, we get pulled into their emotional world. And once that happens, we have already lost our peace. But patience offers a different way. Instead of reacting immediately, we create a pause. We give ourselves space. We take a deep breath and stay centered. We remember that we don't have to win an argument. We don't have to teach anyone a lesson. We don't even have to respond. We can simply observe, without reacting, without engaging, without allowing their negativity to disturb us. There is a well-known story about the Buddha that illustrates this perfectly. One day, a man approached him, full of anger. He shouted insults, trying to provoke the Buddha into a reaction. But the Buddha remained still, completely unmoved. Later, his disciples asked him why he did not respond. The Buddha smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift still belong?" This is the heart of patience, understanding that negativity is like an unwanted gift. If you do not accept it, it remains with the person who brought it. You do not have to take on someone else's anger. You do not have to absorb their criticism. You do not have to let their suffering become your own. You can simply let it pass, like a cloud drifting across the sky. But patience is not something that happens automatically. It is a skill that must be developed, and one of the most powerful ways to develop it is through conscious breathing. The next time someone's negativity begins to affect you, take a slow, deep breath. Remind yourself, this is not mine to carry. Imagine their words or energy passing right by you, without landing, without staying. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. And soon you will notice something incredible. When people realize they cannot trigger you, their negativity begins to lose its power. It is like a fire that burns out when it runs out of fuel. Patience is not about being passive. It is about being so deeply rooted in your own peace that nothing can shake it. And when you live from that place, negativity no longer controls you. Instead, you become a presence of calm in a world that desperately needs it. True patience is not a silent endurance of suffering. It is an active choice to remain unshaken. It is the decision to hold on to your peace, no matter what is happening around you. And yet, patience alone is not always enough. Because even when we understand that negativity is not about us, even when we remind ourselves that other people's suffering is their own burden to carry, there are moments when negativity can still seep in, moments when it feels impossible to remain unaffected. This is where we must turn inward. This is where we must learn the power of stillness. Stillness is not about ignoring what happens around you. It is about developing the ability to observe without reacting. Normally, when someone brings negativity into our space, we react instantly. We feel our body tense. Our mind begins to race. Emotion rises. And before we even realize it, we have been pulled into their energy. This is because the mind, when untrained, follows patterns of instinct and habit. It responds without awareness, without choice. But what if you could see that reaction forming, notice it rising within you, and stop it before it takes hold? What if, instead of being dragged into the storm, you could remain as still as the ocean's depths, untouched by the waves above? This is what meditation teaches us. In Buddhism, meditation is not simply a practice for relaxation. It is a training of the mind. It is the cultivation of presence, awareness, and control over our own reactions. It is the space between action and reaction, the moment of clarity before emotion takes over. When we meditate, we strengthen our ability to observe thoughts, feelings, and external influences without being consumed by them. We learn to recognize negativity without absorbing it. There is a well-known Buddhist analogy that compares the mind to a still lake. When the water is calm and clear, you can see straight to the bottom. But when the surface is disturbed, by wind, by rain, by external force, the water becomes cloudy, obscured, chaotic. The same happens to the mind. When we allow external negativity to stir us, our inner clarity is lost. We become reactive, emotional, unstable. But when we practice stillness, when we train the mind through meditation, we remain clear. No matter what disturbs the surface, our inner depths remain steady. One of the simplest and most powerful meditation practices for developing this clarity is breath awareness. It is a practice as old as time, yet it remains the most effective tool for anchoring ourselves in the present moment. Find a quiet place, sit comfortably and close your eyes. Bring all of your attention to the natural rhythm of your breath. Inhale, exhale. Do not try to control it. Simply observe. Notice the way the air enters and leaves your body, the way your chest rises and falls. And when thoughts arise, when distractions pull at your focus, gently bring yourself back to the breath. At first, this may seem difficult. The mind is restless by nature. It will wander, it will create stories, it will seek stimulation. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. And soon this awareness begins to follow you into daily life. When someone speaks to you with anger, instead of reacting, you instinctively pause. You take a breath. You recognize the feeling of irritation rising, but you do not act on it. You watch it like a cloud drifting by and let it pass. This ability to observe rather than react is the greatest gift meditation can offer. Because once you learn to control your own responses, no one else can control you. You become untouchable. It does not mean you will never feel anger, frustration, or sadness. It means you will no longer be ruled by them. You will experience emotions, but they will not dictate your actions. You will hear negativity, but it will not penetrate your peace. You will encounter storms, but you will remain steady. And this steadiness has power beyond what most people realize. Because when you stop reacting to negativity, when you stop feeding it, it begins to lose its strength. It is like a fire without fuel. It cannot burn if you do not give it something to consume. People who thrive on conflict, on emotional reaction, on stirring chaos, they depend on your participation. But when you respond with stillness, when you remain composed, when you do not give them the reaction they seek, they are left with nothing to grasp onto. This is why silence is often the most powerful response. Not because you are weak, not because you are afraid to speak, but because in your silence, you are demonstrating that their negativity has no power over you. The energy they send out does not reach you. The storm they create does not shake you. And in that realization, they often stop. Because negativity cannot survive in the presence of someone who refuses to engage with it. Stillness is not avoidance. It is not passivity. It is mastery. Mastery of the self, of the mind, of your own inner world. It is the ability to remain whole in the face of chaos, to remain steady in the presence of turbulence, to remain clear when everything around you is unclear. It is a quiet strength, one that does not seek to dominate, but simply exists in its own power. But stillness alone is not the highest level of practice. There is something greater, something even more transformative, and that is compassion. Because while stillness protects you, compassion has the ability to transform not just your experience, but the experience of those around you. Buddhism teaches that negativity arises from suffering, that those who lash out, those who complain, those who bring anger into the world are not doing so because they are truly at peace. They are doing so because they are in pain. Their words, their actions, their energy, these are simply symptoms of deeper wounds. And when we recognize this, we begin to see them differently. Instead of viewing them as people trying to harm us, we see them as people who are hurting. And when we see suffering, what is the natural response? It is not anger. It is not resentment. It is compassion. Imagine this. You are walking through a village and you see a stray dog. It is injured, afraid, and as you approach, it growls at you, maybe even tries to bite. Do you get angry at the dog? Do you shout at it? Demand that it stop being aggressive? Number. Because you understand that it is acting out of fear, out of pain. Its aggression is not personal. It is a defense mechanism. And so, instead of reacting with frustration, you feel compassion. You do not take its actions to heart. You see beyond them, into the suffering that caused them. Now apply this to people. When someone is negative, when they lash out, when they criticize and complain, what if, instead of taking it personally, you saw it for what it was? What if you understood that their words are simply the surface of a much deeper pain? What if you chose to respond, not with frustration, but with understanding? Compassion does not mean allowing yourself to be mistreated. It does not mean tolerating toxicity, but it does mean choosing not to add to the cycle of suffering. It means choosing to see the humanity beneath the negativity. It means understanding that what someone says in anger is often not what they truly feel. It is simply an expression of their inner struggle. And here is the incredible thing. Compassion is not just for them, it is also for you. Because when you see others through the lens of compassion, you suffer less. You are no longer weighed down by resentment, by frustration, by the burden of taking things personally. You free yourself from the need to react, to defend, to fight. And in doing so, you reclaim your peace. When you combine stillness with compassion, you reach a level of inner freedom that cannot be disturbed. You walk through the world unaffected by negativity, not because you ignore it, but because you understand it. You no longer see conflict, you see suffering. You no longer see enemies, you see people in pain. And because of this, you do not add to the suffering. You do not feed the negativity. Instead, you remain as you are, steady, calm, at peace. And when you live this way, something remarkable happens. Your presence begins to change the energy around you. You become a source of peace, not just for yourself, but for those who encounter you. You do not have to say a word. Your very presence shifts the atmosphere. And in a world filled with noise, that kind of presence is the most powerful thing of all. There is a quiet power in those who refuse to be disturbed, a strength that does not come from force, but from an unwavering calm that remains intact no matter what energy surrounds it. This power is not loud, it does not demand attention, and yet it changes everything. It transforms the way you move through the world. It alters the way others respond to you. And most importantly, it shields your peace from the negativity that once had control over you. But how do you cultivate such a presence? How do you remain untouched by negativity, not by avoidance, but by sheer mastery of your own energy? It begins with one simple truth. You are not responsible for other people's emotions. Their anger is not yours to carry. Their frustration is not your burden. Their negativity is not a reflection of you, but a reflection of their own inner state. This realization alone is enough to free you from countless moments of unnecessary suffering. Because when you internalize this truth, you no longer feel the need to respond to every provocation, to defend yourself against every criticism, to fix every problem that was never yours to begin with. You simply allow others to be as they are, without letting their emotions dictate your own. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm, yet remaining completely still. The wind howls, the rain pours, the chaos swirls around you, but you do not move. You do not fight against it, nor do you allow it to sweep you away. You remain as you are, untouched, grounded, whole. This is the essence of inner peace. It is not about avoiding difficult people. It is about developing a presence so strong, so steady, that no matter what storm rages around you, you remain unshaken. But developing this kind of presence requires more than just awareness. It requires patience. And more importantly, it requires practice. It requires training the mind to no longer react automatically, to no longer be pulled into the emotions of others, to no longer mistake someone else's suffering as a personal attack. And one of the most effective ways to build this practice is through the power of the pause. Whenever negativity enters your space, whether through words, actions, or energy, pause. Before you react, before you speak, before you allow emotion to rise within you, take a breath. Just one deep, conscious breath. This single moment of stillness creates a gap between stimulus and response, a space where you can choose your reaction instead of being controlled by it. And in that space, you reclaim your power. Think of it this way. Most people go through life reacting. Someone raises their voice, and they immediately raise theirs. Someone criticizes them, and they rush to defend themselves. Someone complains, and they absorb that energy like a sponge. But what if you were different? What if instead of reacting, you simply observed? What if, instead of being pulled into someone else's negativity, you remained in control of your own? The Buddha once taught that negativity is like a burning coal. If someone hands it to you and you refuse to take it, the only person who gets burned is the one holding it. But if you grab it, if you engage with it, if you throw it back, you only burn yourself in the process. This is why the greatest response to negativity is often no response at all. Not because you are weak, not because you are afraid to speak, but because you recognize that engaging in negativity serves no purpose. It only drains your energy, fuels unnecessary conflict, and ties you to suffering that was never yours to begin with. But stillness is not enough on its own, because while silence can protect you, compassion can transform the situation entirely. Buddhism teaches that every act of negativity stems from suffering. The person who lashes out is in pain. The one who constantly criticizes is unfulfilled. The one who spreads anger is struggling with wounds unseen. When you begin to see negativity through this lens, your response to it changes. Instead of taking it personally, you recognize it for what it truly is, an expression of suffering. And when you see suffering, what is the natural response? Not anger, not retaliation, but understanding. Imagine for a moment that you see someone drowning. They are panicked, desperate, flailing in the water. In their fear, they might even push against you if you try to help. But would you get angry at them for struggling? Would you take their fear as an attack? Number because you understand that they are in distress. And so, instead of reacting emotionally, you remain calm. You keep your presence steady. You do not allow their fear to become your own. Now apply this to negativity. When someone is rude, short-tempered, or critical, what if you could see them the same way? Not as someone attacking you, but as someone who is drowning in their own suffering? What if instead of meeting their negativity with resistance, you responded with patience, with presence, with compassion? This does not mean tolerating mistreatment. Compassion is not weakness. It is not allowing yourself to be used as an emotional punching bag. It is simply understanding without attachment. It is seeing someone suffering without making it your responsibility to fix. It is offering kindness where others might offer retaliation. It is choosing to remain steady in the presence of instability. The Dalai Lama once said, "If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion." Because compassion is not just for the benefit of others, it is for yourself. When you choose to see through the lens of understanding, you release yourself from the burden of resentment. You free yourself from the weight of carrying someone else's suffering as your own. You lighten your own heart. One way to cultivate this is through metta meditation, also known as loving kindness meditation. This practice involves silently sending well wishes, first to yourself, then to those you love, and finally to those who challenge you. It is a simple practice, but one that has the power to shift your energy entirely. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and silently repeat, "May I be happy, may I be at peace, may I be free from suffering." After a few breaths, shift your focus to someone you care about. Picture them in your mind and repeat, "May you be happy, may you be at peace, may you be free from suffering." And then if you are ready, picture someone who has brought negativity into your life, not to excuse their behavior, but to release the grip their energy has on you. And repeat, "May you be happy, may you be at peace, may you be free from suffering." At first, this may feel difficult. The mind may resist, but the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And over time, you will find that the people who once disturbed your peace no longer have the same power over you. Because their negativity does not reach you, it dissolves in the presence of your stillness. This is the ultimate freedom. Not just to remain unaffected by negativity, but to transform your entire relationship with it. To no longer see difficult people as obstacles, but as teachers. To no longer take offense at words spoken from pain, but to recognize them for what they are. To move through the world not weighed down by resentment, but lifted by the quiet power of patience, presence, and compassion. Because in the end, it is not about changing others. It is about changing yourself. It is about becoming the kind of person who walks through life with an unshakable calm. The kind of person whose energy cannot be disturbed by chaos. The kind of person who does not need to fight for peace, because peace is already within them. And when you reach this place, when you embody this stillness, this patience, this compassion, something incredible happens. You do not just protect your own energy, you begin to change the energy around you. Your presence alone becomes a refuge for others. Your calmness softens even the hardest of hearts. And without saying a single word, you disarm the negativity in the world, simply by remaining exactly as you are. There is a moment in life when you realize that the battle was never with others. It was always within yourself. The conflict was never truly about their words, their actions, or their negativity. It was about the way you let those things enter your mind, settle in your heart, and dictate your emotions. And the moment you understand this, something shifts. You no longer seek to control what others say or do. You no longer wish for the world to be different. Instead, you turn inward, mastering the only thing that was ever within your power, your own response. True power is not found in forcing others to change. It is found in mastering your ability to remain untouched by their chaos. And yet, most people spend their entire lives doing the opposite. They exhaust themselves trying to correct others, trying to convince them to be kinder, more understanding, more thoughtful. But in doing so, they miss the deeper truth, that peace is not something you find by fixing the world outside of you. It is something you cultivate within. Buddhism teaches that negativity only has as much power as you give it. A person's anger can only disturb you if you allow it to. Their words can only wound you if you believe them. Their judgment can only affect your self-worth if you attach your identity to their opinions. The moment you withdraw your energy from these things, they lose their grip on you entirely. It is not avoidance, it is not indifference, it is wisdom. Imagine for a moment that someone hands you a gift, but you do not take it. The gift still belongs to them. Their offering does not become yours simply because they extended it toward you. The same is true for negativity. If someone offers you anger and you do not accept it, it remains theirs. If someone sends you insults and you do not allow them to settle in your mind, they return to where they came from. If someone brings chaos into your space and you do not engage, the chaos eventually dissolves. But what does it mean to truly not engage? Does it mean ignoring people? Does it mean suppressing your emotions? To not engage does not mean to close yourself off from others. It means to develop such an inner stillness that nothing can pull you away from your peace. It means to see negativity for what it truly is, not as an attack, but as a reflection of the suffering of the person expressing it. And when you see suffering, what is the natural response? It is not defensiveness. It is not retaliation. It is compassion. Compassion is not about agreeing with someone's negativity. It is not about allowing yourself to be mistreated. It is about recognizing that those who bring anger into the world are often those who are most in pain, that those who lash out are often the ones who are hurting, that those who criticize are often the ones who feel deeply inadequate themselves. And when you see this clearly, something incredible happens. You stop taking things personally. You stop carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. You stop allowing someone else's suffering to become your own. Imagine a tree standing in the middle of a storm. The wind howls, the rain beats against it, the branches bend, but the roots remain deep in the earth, unmoved. The tree does not resist the wind. It does not fight against the storm. It simply allows it to pass, knowing that in time the sky will clear and the sun will shine again. This is the way of compassion. It does not mean that you do not feel the storm. It does not mean that the wind does not touch you. It means that you do not allow yourself to be uprooted by things that are temporary. And here is the secret. Everything is temporary. The negativity of others, the emotions you feel in response, the storms of life, none of them last forever. And when you truly understand this, you stop getting attached to fleeting moments of conflict. You stop allowing yourself to be disturbed by things that will pass on their own if you simply let them. But how do you practice this in real life? How do you apply compassion in moments where anger rises, where negativity feels overwhelming, where every part of you wants to react? One of the simplest yet most powerful ways is through metta meditation, also known as loving kindness meditation. This practice trains your mind to respond with understanding rather than resistance. It is a way of softening your own heart, of ensuring that the negativity of others does not harden you, of transforming the way you experience difficult people. Begin by closing your eyes and taking a deep breath. First, direct kindness toward yourself. Silently repeat, "May I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering." Feel the warmth of those words settle in your heart. Allow yourself to be at ease, knowing that you are worthy of peace. Next, picture someone you love, someone who brings you joy, and repeat, "May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be free from suffering." Then extend this wish to someone neutral, someone you do not feel strongly about. And finally, if you are ready, picture someone who has brought negativity into your life, not to justify their behavior, but to release the grip their energy has on you. And repeat, "May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be free from suffering." At first, this may feel difficult. The mind may resist. It may say, "But they don't deserve my kindness." But this practice is not for them. It is for you. It is to free you from resentment. It is to lighten your heart. It is to prevent you from being weighed down by the emotions of others. Because the truth is, when you hold on to anger, the only person who suffers is you. When you replay someone's words in your mind, the only person being affected is you. When you engage in negativity, the only person losing their peace is you. And the moment you let go, the moment you choose compassion over reaction, you set yourself free. Imagine walking through life with this kind of presence. Imagine never again being disturbed by someone else's bad mood. Imagine moving through your days with an unshakable calm, knowing that no one has the power to take away your peace unless you allow them to. This is not a dream. This is what happens when you train yourself to respond instead of react. When you choose understanding instead of resistance. When you cultivate such a deep inner stillness that negativity can no longer reach you. And here is the most powerful truth of all. When you embody this stillness, you do not just transform yourself, you transform others. Your energy becomes a refuge for those around you. Your calmness becomes a mirror, reflecting back to others the possibility of peace. And in many cases, you will find that the people who once tried to provoke you, the ones who thrived on conflict, the ones who fed off reaction, when they see that their energy no longer affects you, when they sense that their negativity has nowhere to land, they begin to change. Because deep down, every person who carries anger is seeking peace. They just do not know how to find it. And so without saying a word, without needing to prove anything, without needing to engage in battles that serve no purpose, you become a source of stillness in a chaotic world. You become a reminder that peace is always possible. You become the kind of person who is no longer swayed by negativity, not because you have become numb, but because you have risen above it. Because in the end, the greatest strength is not in controlling others. It is in mastering yourself. There is a certain kind of freedom that comes when you realize you no longer need to react. You no longer need to match someone's negativity, no longer need to defend yourself against every criticism, no longer need to absorb the energy that others bring into the space. You simply exist, calm, steady, unshaken. And in that state, you discover something most people never do. Peace is not something that happens when the world around you is perfect. Peace is something you create within yourself, no matter what is happening outside of you. But this kind of peace is rare, not because it is difficult to attain, but because so few people ever make the choice to cultivate it. Most people live in reaction. They allow their emotions to be dictated by others. If someone is rude, they become irritated. If someone is negative, they absorb that negativity. If someone criticizes them, they feel the need to argue. And without realizing it, they become puppets, controlled not by their own intentions, but by the energy of those around them. But what if you could change that? What if, instead of being pulled into negativity, you could remain completely centered in your own peace? What if, instead of responding to anger with anger, you could meet it with understanding? What if, instead of letting others dictate your emotions, you were in complete control of your own inner world? Buddhism teaches that this kind of mastery is not just possible, it is the natural state of an awakened mind. And it begins with one simple practice: observation without attachment. Most of us go through life attaching meaning to everything we experience. If someone speaks to us with kindness, we feel valued. If someone criticizes us, we feel attacked. If someone ignores us, we feel unimportant. But what if none of these things had meaning until we gave them meaning? What if the words and actions of others were just neutral events and it was our interpretation that caused suffering? Imagine standing in front of a mirror. Someone walks by and insults you. The mirror reflects their words, but it does not react. It does not absorb the insult, does not take offense, does not hold on to resentment. It simply reflects. What if you could be like that mirror? What if instead of internalizing negativity, you could simply observe it, let it pass, and remain unchanged? This is what meditation teaches us: to watch the mind, to witness thoughts and emotions without attaching to them. And when you strengthen this ability in meditation, it begins to follow you into daily life. You start to see things differently. You hear criticism, but it no longer wounds you. You encounter anger, but it no longer pulls you in. You experience negativity, but you do not become negativity. Because here is the truth: not everything deserves your attention. Not every insult needs a response. Not every argument needs your energy. Not every opinion about you is worth considering. And the more you realize this, the more you begin to withdraw from things that do not serve your peace. You stop explaining yourself to those who have already decided to misunderstand you. You stop engaging in battles that have no real victory. You stop defending yourself to people whose minds are already made up. But this does not mean you become silent in moments where your voice is needed. It does not mean you tolerate mistreatment or allow others to cross your boundaries. What it means is that you choose your battles wisely. You learn when to speak and when to stay silent, when to engage and when to walk away, when to stand firm and when to simply let go. The Buddha once said, "Do not throw stones at barking dogs," because what happens when you do? The dog barks louder, it becomes more aggressive. It pulls more of your energy into the conflict. But if you simply walk away, the barking eventually stops. This is how you handle negativity. You do not fight it. You do not feed it. You simply remove yourself from its grip. But some will ask, is this not avoidance? Shouldn't we confront negativity instead of ignoring it? And the answer is that this is not about avoidance at all. It is about discernment. It is about recognizing when engagement is useful and when it is a waste of your time and energy. If you can have a meaningful discussion with someone, if there is room for understanding, then by all means, engage. But if someone is committed to negativity, if they are looking for conflict rather than resolution, then walking away is not avoidance, it is wisdom. And here is where the power of boundaries comes in. Because while you may not be able to change how people behave, you can decide what kind of energy you allow into your life. And setting boundaries does not require anger. It does not require an explanation. It simply requires self-respect. Imagine you are the guardian of a temple. The temple is sacred. It is your peace, your energy, your well-being. And outside there are many people. Some come with good intentions, others with negativity, some with kindness, others with anger. Do you allow every person to enter, or do you decide who is worthy of stepping inside? This is how you must treat your energy. Not everyone deserves access to your peace. Not everyone should be allowed to influence your mind. Not everyone should have the power to affect your emotions. And the beauty of boundaries is that they do not need to be aggressive. A simple, calm response is enough. I'm not willing to discuss this right now. I'm going to step away from this conversation. I choose not to engage with negativity. At first, people may push back. They may try to provoke you, to pull you back into the same patterns of reaction. But when they see that you no longer respond the way you used to, something happens. They begin to change. Some will stop trying to engage in negativity with you. Others may remove themselves from your life entirely. Either way, you are free. Free from the burden of unnecessary conflict. Free from the exhaustion of constant reaction. Free to focus your energy on things that actually matter. And in time, something even more powerful happens. You become the one who influences others. When you remain calm in the presence of chaos, people notice. When you refuse to be pulled into conflict, people feel it. When you embody peace, you inspire it in others. This is why true strength is not found in fighting negativity. It is found in rising above it. So the next time you encounter negativity, ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Will engaging in this bring me peace? Is this something I need to carry? If the answer is no, then let it go. Walk away. Protect your peace. Because in the end, no one else is responsible for your inner world but you. You cannot control the energy that others bring, but you can control what you accept. You can decide that your peace is too valuable to be disturbed. You can choose to be the calm in the storm, the stillness in the chaos, the presence of peace in a world that desperately needs it. And when you do, you will find that the world around you begins to shift, not because it has changed, but because you have. There is a kind of strength that does not need to announce itself, a kind of power that is not measured by control over others, but by mastery over oneself. It is the strength of stillness in the face of chaos, the power of choosing peace when everything around you begs for a reaction. And when you reach this level of presence, something remarkable happens. Negativity no longer finds a place to land. Conflict loses its grip on you. The world does not change, but you do. And in changing yourself, you begin to change the way others respond to you. Most people live their lives like leaves in the wind, tossed in every direction by the emotions of those around them. If someone is kind, they feel good. If someone is rude, they feel bad. If things go their way, they are at peace. If things do not, they are consumed by frustration. But what if you were no longer at the mercy of external forces? What if your inner state was no longer dictated by the moods, opinions, and energy of others? What if, no matter what happened, you remained steady? This is the path of true freedom. Not the ability to control what happens outside of you, but the ability to remain unshaken within yourself. And it begins with understanding one simple truth. You are responsible for your energy, no one else. Most people do not realize that they have the power to choose their response. They believe that emotions happen to them, that they are helpless against the forces of negativity, that their peace is something fragile, something that can be stolen by a single harsh word or a single difficult encounter. But peace is not fragile. It is not something that others can take away. It is something that can only be given away. And once you understand this, you stop giving it away so easily. But understanding this truth is not enough. You must also train yourself to live by it. You must condition your mind to remain steady, to recognize when you are being pulled into negativity, to pause before reacting. And one of the most powerful ways to develop this awareness is through meditative observation. The practice of watching your emotions as they arise without being controlled by them. Imagine sitting in meditation, watching your breath. A thought comes, perhaps a memory of something painful or a worry about the future. Instead of engaging with it, instead of letting it pull you away, you simply notice it. There is a thought, and just as easily as it arrived, you allow it to pass, like a cloud drifting across the sky. Now take this practice into daily life. When someone says something rude, instead of reacting, notice the feeling of irritation rising within you. Do not push it away. Do not act on it. Simply acknowledge it. There is irritation, and then let it pass. When someone complains or brings negativity into your space, instead of absorbing it, simply observe it. There is negativity, and then let it go. The more you practice this, the more you begin to realize that you are not your emotions, you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them, and the observer is always free. This ability to observe rather than react changes everything, because suddenly you are no longer caught in the endless cycle of emotional reactivity. You no longer snap back when someone provokes you. You no longer absorb the stress of those around you. You no longer allow the energy of others to dictate the way you feel. And when you do not react, something incredible happens. The negativity begins to dissolve. Buddhism teaches that negativity, like fire, needs fuel to survive. When someone brings anger, they expect anger in return. When someone criticizes, they expect defensiveness. When someone complains, they expect agreement or opposition. But what happens when you give them nothing? What happens when their fire finds no fuel? It burns out. Because negativity cannot exist without something to sustain it. And this is why silence, why stillness, why non-reaction is often the most powerful response. But non-reaction does not mean suppression. It does not mean pretending that emotions do not exist. It means allowing them to arise and pass without attachment. It means recognizing that just because anger appears does not mean you must act on it. Just because irritation arises does not mean you must express it. You watch, you observe, you let go. And in doing so, you develop something even deeper than peace. You develop true inner strength. And here is something even more powerful. When you live this way, you begin to shift the energy around you. You may have noticed this already. When you are around someone who is calm, someone who is steady, someone who does not react impulsively, you feel it. Their presence alone creates a sense of ease. Their energy influences the room without them even needing to speak. This is because stillness is more powerful than chaos. Presence is more powerful than reaction. And when you embody these qualities, you become a force of peace in a world that is constantly seeking it. But this kind of presence does not come overnight. It is built through daily practice. It is cultivated in small moments, choosing to breathe instead of react, choosing silence instead of argument, choosing compassion instead of resistance. It is in the way you wake up in the morning and set your intention for the day. It is in the way you respond to small annoyances. It is in the way you carry yourself in the presence of those who are still ruled by their emotions. And the more you practice, the easier it becomes. So the next time someone brings negativity into your space, pause, breathe, ask yourself, do I need to react? Do I need to absorb this? Is this worth my peace? And if the answer is no, then let it go. Let it pass like a cloud in the sky. Let it dissolve like a fire with no fuel. And watch as the power that negativity once held over you begins to disappear. Because in the end, the greatest power is not found in controlling others. It is found in mastering yourself. It is found in knowing that no matter what happens outside of you, you remain unchanged. And when you reach that level of mastery, you will find that the peace you once sought in the world was within you all along. You are not here to match the energy of others. You are here to set the energy. You are here to be the stillness in the storm, the presence of peace in the chaos, the calm in a world that desperately needs it. And when you become that, when you embody that, everything around you begins to change. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. There is a moment when you realize that your peace is your own responsibility, that no one else can truly take it from you unless you hand it over, that no amount of negativity, no matter how persistent, can shake you unless you allow it. And in that moment, something shifts inside of you. You stop engaging in unnecessary battles. You stop trying to fix or change others. You stop reacting to everything that comes your way. Instead, you become the stillness, the unwavering presence that remains steady no matter how strong the winds around you blow. Most people do not live this way. Most people allow the world to dictate their emotions. If someone is rude to them, they feel offended. If someone ignores them, they feel unworthy. If someone is in a bad mood, they absorb that energy as if it were their own. And without realizing it, they live in a constant state of emotional reactivity, where their inner state is at the mercy of external circumstances. But what if you did not have to live that way? What if, no matter what happened, you could remain calm, steady, unshaken? Buddhism teaches that true freedom is not found in controlling the world. It is found in mastering your response to it. And the more you master your response, the more you begin to see that nothing outside of you has any real power over you. The insults of others, the judgments, the negativity, the chaos, none of it truly affects you unless you choose to engage with it. And so, the key to unshakable peace is simple. Do not engage in battles that do not serve you. Imagine standing at the edge of a river, watching debris float by. Some pieces are small, some are large, some are sharp, some are harmless. You have two choices. You can reach in, grab onto them, try to hold on to them, or even try to push them away. But the moment you do, you become entangled in the current. The moment you grab onto something, it begins to pull you. Or you can simply watch. You can observe as the debris passes without becoming part of the river yourself. This is how you must treat negativity. Not every comment needs a response. Not every conflict needs your participation. Not every battle is worth fighting. When you realize this, you free yourself from the unnecessary suffering that most people create for themselves. You learn to let things pass. You learn to walk away. You learn that protecting your peace is not avoidance, it is wisdom. But non-engagement is not the same as passivity. Some believe that choosing not to react means allowing people to walk all over you, that setting boundaries calmly means you are weak. But the opposite is true. Strength is not found in how loudly you respond, how aggressively you argue, or how much control you try to exert over others. Strength is found in knowing when to engage and when to walk away, in knowing that not every opinion needs your validation, in knowing that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on things that do not serve your growth. The Buddha once said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. How many times have we done exactly that? How many times have we replayed someone's words in our minds, holding on to resentment long after the moment has passed? How many times have we allowed the emotions of others to dictate the course of our day? But when you see anger for what it is, when you see negativity as something you do not have to pick up, you stop burning yourself with what was never yours to carry. And here is where compassion becomes the ultimate key. Because while walking away protects you, compassion has the power to transform not just your inner world, but the energy around you. Most people who spread negativity are doing so not because they are truly strong, but because they are suffering. Their anger, their criticism, their complaints, these are merely symptoms of deeper wounds. And when you begin to see this, your perspective shifts. Instead of taking things personally, you start to understand.